Hello everyone. Today I'm going to make a Chinese roast pork, and in Chinese it's char siu. And now I have made this before, and I'm making this in preparation for a clay pot dish that I do, which is kind of on the complicated side because you have to do it through steps. I don't run a Chinese restaurant, so I have to make the roast pork, I have to make the fried tofu, okay, and I have to make the fried oysters and everything, so it comes all together. And I'll be doing the recording of each segment separately, but I'll show you the final combination of the clay pot dish. And what I do is for the roast pork, I have a large roast pork. It has the bone in, and what I have to do is I have to cut this up. This is pork shoulder, and I'm going to cut this up, and I'm going to show you how to make the marinade, and I'm going to show you the ingredients of each ingredient that you'll need to make this recipe. Follow along. Let me get this out on the board and I'll get back to you. Now you can see that there's a bone in here. Now this bone does not go all the way through to the other side. It goes around here. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut around the bone to get that out first. And we can stick our finger in there and get the bone out. Just be careful of your fingers when using a sharp knife. You get the idea. I'll get back to you once I get the bone out. Okay, I'm back. I finished cutting up the meat. You can see that it's a little on the thick side. It's about 1.5 inches thick by maybe 2 inches to 2.5 inches wide. So I did that. Now, instead of showing you each individual item that I put out and measuring out, I'm just going to go through it. I'll put it in the description box with the video of the ingredients that I use. Now, I used 1.5 I used brown sugar. I used a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. It could be a little bit more or a little bit less. Now, one thing I have to say about recipes, you do a recipe, you make it your own, you can go more, you could go less. I'm not a salt person, so I use less salt than if a recipe calls for salt. I usually go less because salt is really a killer with me. Anyway, I used 1.5 teaspoons of iodized salt. You can use table salt. For the 5 spice powder, I use 1 teaspoon. Black pepper, I like black pepper. Now, in most Asian cooking, they don't use black pepper, they use white pepper. There's no difference, okay? Just the color is the difference. I defy anyone to tell the flavor distance. So I use 3/4 of a teaspoon of black pepper. I used 1 teaspoon of sesame oil. Now it calls for the Chinese wine. You can buy it in the store. It's a rice wine. Now, what is sake made out of? It's made out of rice, okay? So you can use pretty much any alcohol you really want. Alcohol tenderizes meat. And for that, I used 2 tablespoons of the sake. And then I used 2 tablespoons of the light soy sauce. Now, in most Asian cooking, they use dark soy sauce. I use the less sodium one, okay, because once again, salt sensitivity. If you wish, you can use the dark soy sauce. Next is the hoisin sauce. Hoisin sauce is on the sweet side, but it's also salty. And you see, everything has salt in it. So that's why I'm not too big on adding salt to a dish. Now with this, I used 2 tablespoons of hoisin sauce. Next, what I use is minced garlic. I don't have the garlic, I already put it in the bowl. And I use, now the recipe calls for 4 cloves. I lied, I put in 6. I like garlic, okay? My family likes garlic, so I used a little bit more. And I used about 2 tablespoons of water to get it more liquid, okay? Now, oh, and I use 4 tablespoons of honey. So I put that in there, mixed it all together with the water, 2 tablespoons of water, and everything. So I mix that. Now, what you're supposed to do is reserve some of the of your marinade off to the side, because you got to be basting the pork later on in the oven. So you need some on reserve. So you need about 2 to 3 tablespoons of the roast pork. So what I'll do is I grab a little dish, yeah, and I'll take out 3 tablespoons. So that's it. Now what I'll do is I'll take the pork and I put it in the bowl. Okay, now that's in the bowl, and I'll use my special utensils here. I wash my hands. I always make sure my nails are clean and everything. If you want to use gloves, that's up to you. Okay. Chefs have been doing this for many, many years, not wearing gloves, but now it's the new thing where everyone comments, "Oh my God, you're not wearing gloves." Okay, that's up to you. If you think I should wear gloves or something like that, please make a comment down below, and we can get to this. Okay, now, you make this ahead of time, and you want it to marinate in the refrigerator covered for about 8 hours or more. So, I'm going to take this, leave it in the refrigerator for 8 hours, and then I have to get back to you, and then we'll prepare the oven, and I'll show you how to roast it. Okay, back for day 2 on the roast pork. Now, one thing I did leave out yesterday is that you can add food coloring, red food coloring to it. That's what gives it the red look. When you go to a Chinese restaurant that serves the roast pork, that's usually hanging in the window, that red appearance is from food coloring. I don't believe in putting food coloring in my food, so I'm leaving it out. If you want to put it in, you put it in. Okay, like I said, recipes are flexible. Now, I set the oven for 475 degrees. That's not going to be the constant temperature that we keep it at. We only do that for the first 10 minutes, and then we reduce to 375. So what I'm going to do now, I don't have the proper cooking racks. I'm probably going to go out and buy it because I like having the proper tools. You can ask my wife about that. Anyway, what I did was I took 2 flat pans and I had some round racks here to keep it above, because you don't want to set it flat on the pan because you want it to cook all the way around when you cook, and you don't want it to like stew in its own juices. You want the juices to drop down. So what we're going to do is we'll take the pork and we'll lay it out on the pan, on the rack. Yeah, like so. So I spread the meat out on the 2 racks, and I took 2 cups of water and put 2 cups in each pan underneath. I did that because it will drip down. Now, it serves 2 purposes. One for the cleanup later on. Now, you may have to add more water in while it's cooking, but also it prevents the grease from smoking, okay? The fat is still, you know, pork is fatty, so when you get the fat down, it can end up burning and smoking. So it's to prevent from smoking and you getting smoke in your kitchen. I'm gonna put it in the oven. I'm gonna stagger them a little. So I'm gonna put one on one side, and I'm gonna take the other, and see, it won't go side by side, but I'll put it staggered and put that there. Now I'll close it up, and like I said, I'm gonna do 10 minutes at 475 degrees. So I'm gonna set the timer to remind myself. 10 minutes, start, and that's it. And I'll get back to you and I'll show you what to do next. So the 10 minutes are up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset the temperature to 375. And then I'm going to wait 15 minutes more, and when 15 minutes are up, for a grand total of 25 minutes, I'm going to take it and I'm going to flip over the pieces. And then we're going to continue to cook after that, and I'll tell you how many minutes after that. Now, 25 minutes are up. The next thing I have to do is I have to flip it. When you're doing this, also realize you have to check the water level in the bottom of your pan. If it needs more water, add more water. So I'm going to pull this out. Now we have water in the pan, the bottom of the pan, and I'm going to flip it over, and it's not burning. Now it is turning a little brown, but it's not burning. So we do that, flip, flip, and flip. So that takes care of that. Put that back in. Like I said, the water level is still good. And you can see over here the brown. Okay, it's browning, which is what you want. And you can see the other side is not brown. This is why we're flipping it. Just like that. Put it back in. And we're going to do another 15 minutes. Now, during this time, I already did it, but I'm going to tell you what to do. So, we're going to do another 15 minutes. Now, what I did was with that reserve, remember the reserved amount that I said when we made it yesterday? I put it in here. I added some more honey, about 4 tablespoons. I heated it up so it will melt and get incorporated into the sauce. And then I have this for basting. Okay, so this is for basting. We're going to do that after the 15 minutes. We're going to baste it, both sides, put it back in, and then we're supposed to do another 10 minutes. But it also depends on the look. So we're looking for that nice look to the meat for the roast pork. And I'll get back to you when 15 minutes are up. The 15 minutes are up, so I'm going to open up, take a look. And you can see now the difference of how it looked before. It was not brown. Now it's brown. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the reserve sauce that I had added some more honey to and put it on top. Now also you can see that it needs more water. So I got to put more water on. But you get the idea of what I'm going to do is you do this, do one side, flip it over, flip it over, and baste the other side. Now what I'm going to also do is I'm going to add water. Add some water because you always want to do that. Now I'm not going to show you the other one because it's the same thing. I got to take that out and I'm going to do both sides. And then we're going to cook for 10 more minutes. I'll get back to you. Now the cooking total time was 50 minutes, which should be enough, but we're going to test the internal temperature, okay, of the pork, because pork should be 160 degrees internal temperature. So I'm going to pull this out. Now I like mine more caramelized on top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what to do. And first I'm going to take the temperature reading. And 160, 170. So it is finished. The meat is finished. Let me just do this one. And about the same, 170. So it is completed, but I want a little bit more caramelized on top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out, I'm going to set it aside, because I'm going to take the other rack, put it up a little bit more, and use the broiler, and I'll show you what to do. I moved the rack up. I took out the one that was at the very top, and I moved the bottom rack a little bit further up because you don't want you want it under the broiler, but you don't want it too close to the broiler. And what I'm going to do is add a little bit more of our marinade here. Is I'm going to put it under the broiler. Now, when you're broiling something, it's only for a short period of time. So you got to keep your eye on this. Just don't put it in the oven and walk away. We had the broiler on, and we're going to keep on monitoring it. I would do like maybe 1 minute and check on it. So I'll get back to you. I'm going to show you how it's supposed to look. Now, it does have some burnt ends. This is what you look for in roast pork. You like those burnt ends because that's the flavor. But you don't want to burn it to an ash. So I'll get back to you. So you can see that it's a little bit more brown and sizzling. What we're going to do is we're going to do the other side. So there's one. And now let me put in the other one. Let me just put that there so I can baste it. We're finished. Now we have that char on. Now if you want more char, you can leave it under, but just be aware you don't want to dry out the meat too. Now I'm going to slice open one. Now you can see it dripping. That's from the honey and the sugar that was in the sauce. Because one thing about the Chinese roast pork or char siu is that it has a little bit of a sweet taste to it. Now, of course, if you were to use the red food coloring, there would be a red ring, but I don't use the food coloring. And we'll cut that like that, and let's see if it passes the taste test. Now I happen to like that burnt piece. That's how it's supposed to taste, and it's a little crunchy, that piece, but anyway, thanks for following along. This is my step 1 of doing the clay pot, but you can do roast pork by itself and serve with rice and a vegetable side, maybe bok choy or whatever you want, or the Chinese broccoli, things like that. Anyway, thanks for following along. Have a good day, everyone.